In this video, we'll show you how to hang a painting on a regular canvas just like this one. For this you'll need a pencil, painter's tape, 2-inch or 2.5-inch drywall screws, a level, a tape measure, and a drill, and of course, your artwork. And although we don't use them in this video, it's best practice to wear nitrile gloves when handling artwork to protect the piece. First, using a level, follow one edge of the piece straight up from the floor and use painter's tape to mark off one side of the painting. Add another piece next to it and remove the first piece. The inner edge of the tape will represent the edge of your painting. Next, use your tape measure to measure the width of the painting. In this example, the painting is 28 inches wide. Now transfer this measurement to the wall by measuring 28 inches from the inside edge of the first piece of tape. Use the metal part of the tape measure to make a slight mark on the wall. Then, add another piece of tape, again with the inner edge of the tape aligned with the edge of the painting. You now have the painting's width mapped onto the wall. Now determine the height. At SVA Galleries, we use 60 inches as the common sight line, which means the center of the painting rests at 60 inches high. To determine where the top of the painting will be on the wall, first measure 60 inches from the floor and mark this off with a piece of tape. Next, measure the height of the painting and divide that number by 2. In this case, the painting is 34.5 inches. If we divide that number by half, we get 17.25 inches. Transfer this measurement to the wall by measuring up 17.25 from the piece of tape you used to mark the 60-inch center line. Then add another piece of painter's tape. The bottom of the tape should indicate the height of the painting. Now that you have the height and the edges of your piece mapped onto the wall, you can now figure out where the hardware goes. You'll be drilling drywall screws directly into the wall and resting the frame of your painting on them. If your wall is not backed by plywood and you're hanging a very large piece, it's probably a good idea to use wall anchors. First, measure the width of the frame from the top down. In this case, the frame is 2.5 inches. On the wall, measure 2.5 inches down from the top line and make a small mark. Use a level to carry this mark across to the other edge. Now you'll determine how far in from the sides you should put your screws. Measure the sides of the canvas frame. Your screws should go far enough in so that they don't interfere with the frame, but not so far in that the screws are too close together and the canvas wobbles. In this case, we chose to put our screws 5 inches from the edges. On the wall, use the metal part of your tape measure to make a mark 5 inches from the inner part of the blue tape. Do this on both sides of your piece. Now, use a level to carry these marks straight up towards the top marks you made. Where these lines intersect will be where you put your 2 screws. Be sure to drill in as straight as possible so that the screws aren't at an angle. Leave roughly 1 inch or 1.5 inches of the screw sticking out of the wall to give your canvas something to rest on, but be sure not to leave it too far out that it can tear the canvas. Now you're ready to hang the piece. As a guide, use the blue tape that you used to mark off the edges. Do a final check with your level to make sure the piece isn't crooked. Remove the tape and you're done.